Welcome to the NCDWI Guide podcast, where defenders of the Constitution assemble to prepare for courtroom battle and firm owners gather to develop marketing strategies that will revolutionize the practice of criminal defense. Here's your host, the NCDWI guy, Jake Minnick.
Hello, fellow freedom fighters, and welcome to another episode of the NCDWI Guy podcast. Today, we are talking about quarterly goals. A little bit late on getting this podcast up. Quarter one, by the time this airs, will be 2 weeks into the making. So 2 weeks behind if you're going to use this as your goal setting for quarter number 3. But with quarter number 3 upon us, we want to make sure that we are finishing the year strong. Finishing 2020 strong. 2020 has been a crazy year for every working person, for any person in the world. 2020 has been a wild year. I mean, just with the pandemic, all of the impact that has had in terms of in our industry, of the law, courtrooms being closed, cases not getting charged for a number of months, so a lot of time without work, seeing the courts reopen and working through the difficulties of how do you logistically get clients into the courtroom, excused, do things by waiver. So just all kinds of moving parts from the beginning of the year to now. But don't let COVID, don't let anything else that has happened in 2020 be an excuse for not finishing the year strong. You got 3 months, October, November, December, to be able to close out 2020 with a bang. Close out 2020 in the right way. A lot of times when we get into the mindset of, well, again, I'll just fix this come January 1st. I'll fix this bad habit with New Year. So, you know what? I'm just going to kind of like coast for the rest of, normally this thought process comes in at the end of December or even at the beginning of December. But, I'm going to quit drinking in 2021 starting January 1st, or I'm going to eat better, exercise more, wake up earlier, whatever it might be. I'm going to do that on New Year's. So I better really party hard for December to just make sure I get all that out of my system, right? So we have this tendency when we have like a future point of normal habit shifting, which a lot of times is that New Year's Day, we have this tendency to be like, I'm going to coast, or even worse than that, I'm going to just continue to party hard until I get to the point that I need to make this change. Making that change then all the harder down the road. So quarter 4, finish strong. How you end the game. When you look at I recently heard a podcast by, or maybe it was just a quick video by Michael Mogul with Chris Video Company. And he basically was pointing to whoever finishes quarter number 4 in the lead wins the game. You look at a football game with 4 quarters, whoever is winning at the end of quarter number 4 wins the game. It doesn't matter what you've done in the first 3 quarters. You could have been terrible in the first 3 quarters. You could have done really well in the first 3 quarters and then let your foot off the gas. If you're winning at the end of quarter number 4, you're going to win the game. This is how you can win 2020. If 2020 has been a crap year, if it's been a difficult year, if it's been an amazing year, a killer year, make sure that you finish it in the right way. If it's been a down year, a bad year for your business, you've had to lay off employees, you haven't been paid in months, you don't know when you're going to start seeing cases coming back in the door, you're worried about being able to pay the bills, finish quarter 4 strong. Finish quarter 4 by winning. Finish 2020 by winning quarter number 4. If you've been doing well, if you had a lot of time from March to June to plan out how to improve your practice, improve your services, take your firm to the next level, grow, spend time educating yourself, building yourself personally and professionally, don't let your foot off the gas. Finish 2020 strong. So there's your cheerleading moment on how to execute for the rest of this quarter. We started having quarterly goals with the advent of COVID. So as a firm, everybody at the office for the last 3 quarters, Q2, Q3, and Q4 of 2020, we've each had individual, personal, and professional goals. And it is really powerful to write your goals down on paper, your personal goals for the quarter and your professional goals for the quarter on paper, and share that with other people. As soon as you start writing down your goals or typing them into a document, as soon as you put them into the outside world, not just in your brain, into the outside world, they begin to have life and reality. Change is hard. When you want to improve yourself, set lofty goals for yourself, you're not expected to measure up to your goal until it gets outside of your brain and somebody else knows about it. But even before anybody else knows about it to hold you accountable, the second that you write it down on paper, the second that you type it into a Word document, you've now given that goal reality. It now exists outside of you, even if nobody else has seen it, heard it, knows about it. You now have given that goal life outside of you. So make sure that you put your goals on paper. It is incredible the last 3 quarters to see everybody's goals, to see the entire team's goals on a giant spreadsheet. Personal goals on one column, professional goals on the other. It is powerful to see that. If you have a team working with you, if you have a staff member working with you, another attorney, share these goals with one another and combine them into one joint document so that everybody can look at that and hold one another accountable, but also see the growth that you're trying to achieve. It is amazing to look at a 4-page long Word document that has nothing on there about the things that the team wants to accomplish in their personal lives and for the firm. It's incredibly energizing to see that list. This is how we want to change the world, is one client's life at a time. And we can't change for the better the life of our client unless we are continually growing ourselves as individuals, growing ourselves as professionals, and stepping up our game. So again, with this quarter, I feel like there is a real sense of ownership about our goals. We kind of got our feet wet in quarter number 2 and quarter number 3 to see how the goals would work, see how we were going to be able to implement them, hold each other accountable. We've tweaked some things with how we are sharing the goals. We tweaked some things with accountability. But this quarter, the emphasis was, let's not make goals just for the sake of making goals. I told the team, if you're not committed to the goal, whether it's a professional goal or a personal goal, don't put it on the list. We don't care. The goal for us is not to have a really long list of goals that are not accomplished. If you're putting a goal down on Tuesday and by Friday, you look at that goal and say, yeah, I don't really care that much about that goal. That's not one of the goals that we want to put on the list for this quarter. We want only goals, even if it's just one goal, personal or professional. We want only goals that you are committed to making happen. You got to be committed. People that are interested don't care. People that are just merely interested in accomplishing a goal will do the least amount of effort. People that are committed to their goals will do whatever it takes. People that are committed will do whatever it takes. And that's the kind of goal that you want to have. A goal that really gets you fired up, that you're psyched about. Again, whether it's personal or professional, it's got to be something that you're actually more than interested in. It's got to be something that you're committed to. Got to be committed. So the focus was we want to have goals that we are committed to. We also tried this quarter to get specific with the goals. Wanted to be specific. Specificity is the key to both having a goal that you can achieve, but also having other team members hold you accountable, which we'll get to in just a minute what that accountability structure looks like at the office. But in terms of specificity, that is what makes a goal a kind of just more than a dream. A dream is a goal that lacks specificity. A dream is a goal that lacks specificity. If you put onto your goals, I want to exercise more this quarter, that is never going to happen, because that could mean anything to you, and none of your teammates know how to hold you accountable to that. Your spouse doesn't know how to hold you accountable to that. Friends that you share your goal with, they don't know how to have you accountable to that goal. You have to have specificity. Instead of, I want to exercise more, I want to exercise 3 times a week for at least 45 minutes per workout session. That's specific. That's something that somebody else can hold you accountable to. That's something that you've set out for yourself that you can be accountable to. Waking up early. I want to wake up earlier. That's a dream. That's not a goal. That's a dream. If you put down on your paper, I want to wake up earlier, that is meaningless. I want to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. That's a goal now. That has specificity that you know when you are accomplishing that goal, and your teammates, your spouse, your friends, your family can hold you accountable to. So you got to be specific with the goals. Got to be specific. The goals also have to have a deadline. If you have a non-routine goal, then it has to have a deadline. And some goals that are quarterly goals that are going to get accomplished over a 90-day period of time, they're going to have multiple deadlines in order to get to the end game. At the beginning of quarter number 4, with any goal that is not just a change in routine, but is a big picture goal. For me, one of my goals is hiring an attorney for our Statesville office. That's not a goal that gets accomplished in a week's time period. You got to figure out how you're going to advertise for that. How are you going to find applicants for that? How are you going to get the office space? How are you going to get everything set up online? How are you going to establish interviews? How many candidates do you want to interview? When are the interviews going to happen? When would the offer go out? All of those things have to have deadlines in order to get to the end result of having a person in the seat in Statesville. So you have to be specific, and you have to have deadlines for any goal that is not a routine or a series of deadlines. Otherwise, for one of those big picture goals that's not a routine, you're going to get to the end of quarter 4 and say, oh yeah, I didn't accomplish that goal because there was no commitment, no accountability to when that goal had to happen. It just had to happen by the end of quarter 4. So why would I start working on it until the week of Christmas, right? I'm not going to work on it until the week of Christmas. And then Christmas rolls around. It's like, well, it's Christmas. It's a holiday. So I guess I'll start this for next quarter. No, if you have a big picture goal that's not a routine, get those deadlines in place. Now, in terms of accountability, this is the critical element of making your goals a reality, making your goals a checklist that you accomplish. You got to be committed on your own. You have to have goals that you care about, that are important to you, that are based around life changes that you want to commit to. But you also need an accountability team. And everybody's accountability team may work differently. At our office, we have 13 people with goals. We have 13 employees, 13 team members that are putting their goals onto the list. And so each one of those team members is split up into groups of 3 or 4. So we have 3 groups of 3, 1 group of 4. So each person has at least 2 other accountability partners on the team to hold them to their goals. Throughout quarter number 4, each one of those team members is going to be meeting with their accountability team of 3 or 4 people a couple times a month and basically just saying, how's it going? How are the goals coming? Regular check-ins. Because you can make an excuse once or twice, but after a while, it's just like, you're really not committed to that goal, right? You need that accountability in place. And so being specific with your goals allows those people on your accountability team to hold you to them. Now, if you don't have other people on your team, if you're a solo or you don't want to try to have other people in your office work through the goals for Q4 with you for the first quarter, you just want to kind of see how it works, then get somebody else on your accountability team. Have your spouse be on your accountability team. Tell your spouse your goals. Tell a family member your goals. Tell a close friend, a colleague, another one of the freedom fighters that's on this call. Tell them about your goals. The more that you tell others about your goals, the more it becomes a reality. The more commitment, the more weight you feel to get that goal accomplished. It's not just something that is living in your head, it's living in the world. And encourage other people, if they're not on the team, encourage other people to ask how your goals are going. How is this working? Right now, one of the team members at my office, Stephanie and I, we both have a couple of shared goals, which makes it really, really great for this quarter. We're both trying to wake up, not trying, that was bad. We are both going to wake up at 5 a.m. every weekday. Shared goal, easy. Every day we check in with each other. How'd it go? Not so great today. Didn't get it done. 6 o'clock, hour late, whatever it might be. Or yeah, crushed it today. I hit my time. I got up. I was able to put in a workout, able to do some reading that I was planning to do. Crushed it. But that regular check-in, and that person's going to ask. I know Stephanie's going to ask me when I come into the office. And today I didn't hit it. Today it was 5:35. Not good enough. But she's going to ask me about that. And that's important. It's important to have that accountability. So make sure that your goals are concrete. Make sure that your goals are specific. Make sure that your goals have deadlines, and make sure that your goals are shared. Make sure that they're shared. Now, I've had a number of different goals for different quarters, number of different goals in quarter number 2, quarter number 3. They've been focused on big projects at the office. They've been focused on things that I am wanting to improve in my home life, but you got to make them real. You can see right here that I have my goals on this whiteboard right here next to my desk. Look at them every day. Wrote them down on the whiteboard, right? For our team in quarter number 4, we are focusing on our core value of moral compass. Moral compass is the core value that we are focusing on in quarter number 4. We're going to finish the year strong by finishing it with a emphasis on improving ourselves, both in the personal world and in the professional world. And so for me, this quarter, from a professional side, like I said, I'm working on getting the Statesville office filled, getting an attorney into the Statesville office. If you or somebody that you know is an attorney that's looking for a place of employment, a fun place to work, tell them to give me a call, because we're looking for a good attorney for the Statesville office. But again, I've broken that down. Each month, there are certain things that have to get done in order to fill that spot. It doesn't just magically happen on a specific day. There is a lot of work that goes into getting the right person into the Statesville office. Got to put in the time, and it's got to be broken down, and there's got to be deadlines. We are working on, because quarter number 4, the emphasis is on moral compass. I am working as my second professional goal on creating a competitive process at the office for us to do pro bono work and community service. So again, we're split up into 4 teams. We want to compete against one another in terms of who can provide the most community service pro bono, trying to figure out logistically how that works. But why not help people, help the community, help clients, but at the same time make it fun by making it competitive. So we're working on that. I've got the first kind of draft of what that competition will look like for the firm, ready to go for our team meeting on Wednesday. And so I'll share that with you again in the future in terms of how that competition looks and is going. And then finally, third goal is to find 3 systematic ways to provide wow service to clients. So 1 per month. Very simple goal, 3 systematic ways to improve client service. For October, the systematic improvement is to figure out in our initial consultation, when a client first calls, potential client first calls, how to offer that client a virtual meeting as part of our scripted communication in setting up the initial consultation with the attorney. I feel like if you're going to talk to 3 people on the phone about your case, one of them you get to see in person. A lot of clients aren't comfortable coming into the office right now because of COVID, or they can't. With DWI cases, it's difficult to do that because person a lot of times at the time of the initial phone call consultation does not have a license. So we are going to make it a part of our process that video conferencing is offered, maybe even preferred, but offered to the client. If they can see you, they can trust you better. You can trust somebody better when you see them than by phone. So that's one easy way to provide wow service. So that's my October systematic way to improve wow client service. On the personal end of things, my goal is to read at least 2 Bible stories or tell 2 Bible stories to my kids once a week. Simple goal, but specific. Simple but specific. Doesn't have to be rocket science. just something that other people can hold you accountable to. And I've done that this week. So there's one check mark. Wake up at 5 every day. Simple, but specific. I've been batting about 50% on that front this quarter. So I'm sharing it, putting it out there on the podcast waves, 5 o'clock. And then finally, limiting alcohol consumption to social events and Sundays. I want any time that is a part of my life to be a moment of celebration and not as a form of just personal relaxation. So that's the goal for me in terms of quarter number 4, personal goals, professional goals. Make sure you put yours out there. Tell people about them. Put them on Facebook. Share them with your close friends and family by email, because then it's specific and they can ask you about it. The key to getting goals done is one, on you, having a commitment to these things. And secondly, and probably more importantly, accountability. You are not going to get a goal done if you're not accountable. You got to have other people that are holding you accountable. So share your goals, crush quarter number 4, finish 2020 the right way. You win and lose the game in the fourth quarter. Doesn't mean that the first 3 quarters aren't important, but whoever is winning on the scoreboard at the end of quarter number 4 is the winner. Remember that and finish quarter 4 of 2020 strong. Look forward to speaking with you again next time. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of the podcast. If you did, please share the podcast with another freedom fighter in the criminal defense community, and be sure to leave us a rating on iTunes. See you next time.